Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Alan. Good evening, Sean. Good evening, Kurt.
Hey guys.
Cheers.
Hello,
How
everyone.
are you?
Cheers.
Wonderful.
Cheers.
I think baby girl's playing ball. She's doing something. Hey, welcome everybody. Tonight we're doing cocktails and vinyl. We're going to talk a little bit about record store day titles, and of course, and show off some of the cool records we have. The cool thing about record store day is that there's so many records, and the not so cool thing is I don't get to listen to them, so I get to hear people talk about them, and cool things like that. And there's Slambo. Hello, Slambo. How are you doing tonight? Thanks so much for joining us. Yeah. Alan, are you doing well? Hello, Chris.
I'm doing the best that I can. Adam, thanks for asking.
And how about you, Sean?
Can't complain. And even when you do, no one really cares. So there you go.
And you, Kurt?
No, I'm doing all right.
I'm living the dream. I just wish
Living
I
the dream.
knew whose dream it was.
Very good. So I'm inspecting a buyback, processing records, and I just pulled this out. Did anybody ever make one of these?
Oh, yeah, one of those origami fortune tellers. I used to make those in elementary school.
These are so cool. Yeah. Well, anyway,
The things that we did before electronics and the internet.
What
There
kind of
you
record
go.
was it in? What record was it in, Adam?
it's in Midtown Dickens. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, just been processing a buyback. It's a beautiful record. But we'll talk about Record Store Day. We just had Record Store Day drops number 2 and number 1 here. We're looking forward to Record Store Day Black Friday. And the other cool thing is that Record Store Day started in 2009, and it's been going strong ever since. Yeah. And so, yeah, we'll learn a little bit more about it. Hello, Art. How are you? As we go on, and hopefully I'll learn from you guys too. So let's get started. Let's start with Alan. I'm going to make you large, Alan.
Well, since this is a record store day,
I'm not going to make you large.
show.
There you go.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm not going to make you large. Let's go right ahead.
Oh, okay. This was a promotional piece that I got from a record store on record store day, and I am surprised that I got it. But this was released April 10th, I think, 2009. Looks like a 10, and this is what it looks like. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this.
Wow. I don't
but
think
I
I've
figured I
ever
would
seen
show
that.
this.
That would have been from the first record store day.
Absolutely. Now, this is the track listing. I don't know if you want to enlarge me so you can read what's on here.
Wow, that's quite a rainbow of artists. Geez, everybody from Franz Ferdinand to Q-Tip, Charles Mingus, Willie Nelson, Cage the Elephant. Wow, that is cool.
MGMT.
Huh.
You could see right as 2009 Sony Music Entertainment for promotional only. So this was this is what started it all as a promo.
So was that given to you when you went to the RSD?
Yes.
Okay,
This
good.
This is what the inner sleeve looks like.
Oh, cool. Wonderful. Well, that's great.
And we got to look at the vinyl, of course. This is the label. It's a record store day label.
Huh. I've never seen that before, Alan. That's really cool.
That is cool.
I don't know how many they pressed of this, but I was fortunate enough to get one. So I figured that the perfect record to open this up with.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thanks, Alan. Sean?
You're welcome.
So anybody that knows me knows that I absolutely adore the Cramps' first record. And Record Store Day 2015, I believe it was, Spoon put out a 10-inch single of them covering TV Set from the Cramps' first album. So I couldn't resist this. So this was a pretty cool one. I forget if it was colored vinyl or not. Yeah, it is. It's like a deep pink, almost red, depending on the light. But
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
What you got, Kurt?
I got two from the same artist, Richard Lloyd. Any of you are familiar with Television, which is a seminal group. Richard Lloyd was an instrumental piece of that. I think this is from 2018, and I think they maybe one's the 2019. I don't remember. Yep, 2019. So 2 years in a row, they had Richard Lloyd releases. Again, if you're a big fan of Television and Rocket from the Tomb, I believe, were his two other bands. It's a good listen. So,
Very cool.
transparent orange vinyl.
Color vinyl sounds so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alan.
Okay. That was fast. All right, this is something that's really cool. This came out, I'm not sure what year, but it was a limited edition of, get this number, 11,000. And it's by The Doors. This was their first concert ever, a little mini concert.
Wow.
And it's a 10-inch record. And mine is number 8,329.
That is cool.
This is the track listing. And when I saw this, I had to have it.
How does it sound? How's the sound quality of it?
It actually sounds pretty good. It's not. It's just on standard black vinyl, and this is the label.
You know, the amazing thing about something like that is, I guarantee you that was probably sourced from some cassette that had been sitting in some guy's basement for God knows how long. You know, it just happened to surface. That's really cool.
Probably, yes.
Very cool. Okay, Sean.
So I'm going to show three because they're kind of part of the same series, and I really, 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 really wish Record Store Day would do more of these. No fancy reissues with bonus tracks and remastering and none of that. Nice, simple. These blues singles were fantastic. You know, there's one from Robert Johnson, one from Blind Willie Johnson, one from Blind Willie McTell. This one from Blind Willie, which one? Yeah, this one from Blind Willie McTell, man, Statesboro Blues. You know, a lot of people forget about these late 20s, early 30s blues recordings, but, oh, man, these are still so good and so listenable today. You know, even though it's just him sitting there with his guitar, you know, I don't know. There's just something about the way he sings it. Everything. Lou Donaldson, very well-known jazz saxophonist, said that when he was a little boy, you know, and listening to those old blues records, they used to call it suffering music because, you know, it was something that you could only really understand if you had suffered. You know, if you were walking home from work one day and somehow lost your paycheck, or, you know, just things like that, and just, you know, being poor and being down on your luck all the time. And man, you know, the blues has evolved so much over the years, and so much of it has become ingrained and almost inseparable from rock, especially in the last, say, you know, 30, 40 years. But man, you know, to hear where blues came from in these old blues records, it's just outstanding. And these are very well done. They've all got, you know, reproduction sleeves that they would have come with in the 20s and early 30s. They've got the tiny little labels. They're 10-inch records. They spin at 78. So it's nice. Cool. So it's nice to be able to have these, because finding, you know, a lot of people don't have the ability to play shellac 78s, because even if your turntable spins at 78, if you don't have a cartridge with a 3mm stylus on it, you're not going to be able to play the record. So it's nice to be able to have these in their original configurations, but have a version that's playable on modern equipment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
And those are on vinyl, folks, just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, and kind of, I mean, a little contradictory to what you were just talking about, Sean. Usually, if I have a record already and it's the OG or something, and the re-release is just it hasn't been released on vinyl for 36 years. I tend to stay away from them, but if I don't have them, I'll buy them as new copies. And then on the rare occasion when one comes out that's been remixed or remastered, and I have to have it, I get it. This is an example of that. This is from this year. This is the Ultravox Vienna double LP with the Steven Wilson stereo mix. And
there's the CD too.
There's the CD. Just a fantastic record. I've got 3 copies of the original because I just love it so much. It's one of the very first and favorite synthy pop records. And again, in this case, it's a clear vinyl. It comes, beautifully clear vinyl, and it comes with a second LP that is a total instrumental version of the LP. And as Adam was talking about in a sale the other day, well, the first song is Astrodyne is instrumental anyway. So at first I thought, well, I'm listening to the wrong LP, and then they started singing, so I realized I wasn't. So, but absolutely love this.
Well, how does it sound compared to the original, Kurt?
I haven't played them face to face, so I'm not sure how I would do that. But again, this one, maybe just because I opened the seal and it was, brand new, and it's not 35 years old, 40 years old. It sounded.
That's so cool. Yeah. Hey, thank you everybody for joining us. Chris, I would like to have you. We're going to be doing this for several weeks, and I'd like Chris to come over and be a guest one night also. Alan, take it away.
All right. The next one, since a lot of people get Christmas music, this was a release on Black Friday Record Store Day of 2010. And this is a Jimi Hendrix Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 10-inch.
Cool. Never seen that.
Pretty interesting cover, right?
What'd you pay for it, Alan?
I'm sorry?
What'd you pay for it? What did you pay for it?
$8.99 plus tax.
$8.99. Very cool.
That'd be a $20 record brand new today. If that came out for Record Store Day today, that'd be every bit of $20.
Oh, yeah. Everything has come. Have you noticed Record Store Day over the last 2-3 years? The records, Record Store. 7.
Were you going to say the price has gone up?
Never mind.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway, this is on lovely green vinyl.
That's cool.
Look at that. Jimmy looks mad. But there you go. No, I was just saying that 7-inch records used to be $7-8. Now they're a lot more. But that's the way you go.
They are. I noticed this year we didn't have as many 7s. But is that a 7, Alan?
No, it's just 10-inch record. But that's why I'm shocked. Cool. Back in 2010, this was only $9. That's amazing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Next.
Sean?
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and stick with the Christmas theme then, because I believe this was Record Store Day Black Friday 2020, but a 7-inch single from Kraft Recordings from the Charlie Brown Christmas. This is Christmas Time Is Here, the album version, and then side B is an alternative vocal version. So that was pretty cool. I decided to grab. This is normally not something that I would usually grab, but considering that a Charlie Brown Christmas is hands down my favorite Christmas record of all time, it's kind of cool. Translucent green vinyl and all that. So neat little piece.
Back green vinyl.
'Tis the season. Well, in December anyway.
How does it sound, Sean?
Color.
How does it sound?
Well, it sounds fine.
Okay, good. Yeah. Slambo says the June RSD was the first that I had to participate. The only one record that I bought was Jonathan Winters. Very cool.
Very nice.
And Chris got a holiday 7-inch last Black Friday. I don't remember what it was. What was it? What was it, Chris? I don't even remember. Kurt. Kurt is
you're on mute.
Sticking with the holiday theme, I would say
Piggy.
no. It's Death Piggy, which is clearly, for those of you who are regional, know more than others that this is Gwar, or pre-Gwar, I think, really. And so Death Piggy, welcome to the record. This was 2020 Record Store Day release. Part of the reason I wanted to focus on this one is because I've never quite seen this color of vinyl before. And I guess I'm not sure what I would call it, but maybe baby poop vinyl? Baby poop brown? Or, I'm not sure what to define that is. But it's interesting color. But maybe it's appropriate for the record as well. So, of course, if you all know Gwar and Death Piggy in that sense, I wouldn't say it's exactly cutting edge musical genius, but it's good to have.
Gwar is fun to listen to. I mean, I certainly understand why they've always been a little on the niche side and never really hit, the commercial realm. But I don't know, Gwar's fun. I mean, they're not one I listen to a lot, but I mean, sometimes that's when you're in the mood for Gwar, nothing else will work.
Yeah. And the connection is they're from Richmond. Is that right? Were they from Richmond?
I don't know anything about that band. Zero.
I knew at one time I heard that they were banned from playing in North Carolina, but
yeah,
who knows? Because of their stage antics.
Oh yeah,
Chicken nugget, mustard,
costumes and everything.
Yeah.
You know what, Slambo? You're exactly right. That is chicken nugget.
Yeah, that's honey mustard. Honey mustard brown.
Okay. Alan, I don't have anything.
All right. Well, this is an interesting one. The Ghostbusters theme on Glow in the Dark vinyl.
Huh. Look at that.
Ray Parker Jr. Includes rare
dance remixes. And this is number 5942. And it does glow in the dark.
Sweet.
Very
That's
cool.
All right. Guess that means my turn.
Yeah.
All right. So to close out the 10 inches, around 2014, 2015, Record Store Day did something rare, which was some jazz titles that actually really piqued my interest. So in Record Store Day Black Friday 2014, they released the volume 1 of Miles Davis's Prestige 10-inch albums from the early 50s. And, on the used market in decent condition, these 10-inch records will cost you $100 a piece. So, these box sets, and they have fantastic sound. And so these are excellent. They're in real nice tip-on jackets and everything. I'll just show you an example of one of them. So, nice, just beautiful, nice thick cardboard. Good quality pressings. They sound great. So was very happy with that. And then the following main Record Store Day in April 2015, they released Volume 2. And
Nice.
So this covers, I believe, all of the 10-inch LPs that Miles Davis put out on Prestige, which were all released between 51 and 55. And then lastly, for Record Store Day 2015, I can't remember if it was the main one or Black Friday, but it was Jazz at Massey Hall. It's a 3-volume 10-inch LP set that originally came out on Debut Records, which was a label that was started up by Charles Mingus and Max Roach in the early 50s. And so originally they put out 3 volumes of Jazz at Massey Hall, which was an amazing concert, legendary concert. And so this collects all 3 of those 10 inches. Again, very nicely done, faithful to the originals, no bonus tracks, no nothing, just straight reissues of those 10-inch singles with the original art, original liner notes on the back, everything else is great. Excellent stuff. So,
Pretty cool.
yeah.
Those first 2 sets, the first 2 sets that you showed there, Sean, did they play at 33 or 78?
No, they play at 33.
33.
Yeah, and the originals did too, right, Alan? Because the 10-inch LPs were very popular in the early 50s when the LP was first a thing, when they moved from shellac to LPs. 12-inch vinyl was mainly saved for like classical and stuff that needed more space on the disc. But if you go back to like popular artists and look at things like Sinatra's albums from that time, or Bing Crosby, or Rosemary Clooney, or any of that stuff, or a lot of jazz from that time period from the early 50s, it's mostly all 10-inch. But it's 33 RPM. It's just a 10-inch record.
Sean, have those records been reissued in any other form since RSD?
Since RSD, probably not the records themselves. I would say that some of the recordings probably have. They probably showed up in complete sessions, box sets, or whatever it might be. But the records themselves, I don't believe have been reissued since Record Store Day. No.
That would be a good issue. Yeah, very cool.
Absolutely.
Again, most of mine are newer than older, but L7.
Yes.
Familiar with L7. This was their 1997 release, The Beauty Process. And this is the only vinyl release of it was this recent RSD. It's limited to 3,000 copies, but they weren't numbered, which kind of pisses me off. But we're gonna do what we're gonna do. And again, it's called The Beauty Process Triple Platinum. And one of the things that's kind of cool of it, like almost all RSD titles are their colored vinyl, but this is a platinum. So it's really kind of neat. I don't think I've ever seen a platinum colored vinyl either. So, and
I bought that one too. That was a solid release because, like you said, that had never been pressed on vinyl literally anywhere in the world. I mean, there wasn't even, some dodgy copy from Brazil. That title simply did not exist on vinyl.
Well, a lot of the L7, they came in kind of at the end of vinyl, right? I mean, unless it was their early one-offs. A lot of it's kind of mid-90s punk bands were not on vinyl. So they're the fun releases on Record Store Day in particular. I liked it. So.
Very cool. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. We're just talking Record Store Day titles with Alan, and Sean, and Kurt.
I guess I'm up.
Yes, sir.
All right. This next release is from April of 2014. And it's the Velvet Underground.
Cool.
Great record. Loaded. Now, what's interesting about this one, it's on the original label, and wait till you see the color of this vinyl. It's mind-blowing.
Slow.
I like that. That's cool.
The original label, redone.
Very nice.
And a lot of people, when they see colored vinyl, is like, that probably sounds awful. This actually is very good quality.
Yeah.
Great fidelity.
That whole thing about colored vinyl is a myth. I mean, black is a color.
Right.
I mean, it is. I mean, I think that may have been true years and years ago.
Yeah, exactly. That and picture disc.
It's not true anymore. That's a myth.
I think picture disc were also part of the feed for that, because you find the old picture disc and you don't want to play those.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until the 90s that picture discs became, playable, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder how they were able to change that.
I don't know, some kind of material that they use. But, I've got a picture disc copy of Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe, which came out in 1999. And that thing, I've played that thing at least a good 30 or 40 times in the 20 some odd years I've owned it, and that thing still sounds as good as the day it was new. So
nice.
The picture discs from the 70s were very thin. There wasn't very much wax there at all, and it's hard to find any that are still flat. So I think that's one of the reasons. Alan, you probably have a picture disc from the 80s that's not flat.
Yes, I do. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
Did you buy it from someone we know?
Yeah.
Yep.
I did a video on. I did a video on it.
It'll make a nice clock.
Yeah. But it looks cool. It looks cool.
It does.
Whose turn is it? Mine?
Your turn, Sean. Yep.
Okay. So this is the earliest Record Store Day title I owned. Never released on vinyl in the U.S. until 2010. It was a Record Store Day release of Pantera's Cowboys from Hell. And yeah, so this was Pantera's major label debut. As far as the band is concerned, this is their first album. Pantera put out some records in the 80s with a singer named Terry Glaze. And those records did not have very much distribution text, and they basically sounded like Judas Priest and Van Halen combined. They were wearing spandex and spikes and all of that kind of stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, those records are interesting as a historical curiosity, but there's really no need to listen to them. I kind of agree with the band. Pantera starts here. So, yeah. Great album.
What year was that originally released?
1990.
1990.
Yep.
Very cool.
So I wasn't finding all my oldest and all those because I don't know where all my Record Store Day records are. They're all in different spots. But I did pull some of the ones that I kind of thought I bought for different reasons. One of them is I like when we have these compilations that come out occasionally, either dedicated to a certain artist or, full of other great artists. So this is one that maybe not everyone's familiar with, but it's a Angel-Headed Hipster, which is the songs of Mark Bolan and T-Rex. It's a double album. It's great. It's got just an incredible, great variety of different artists on it. It's got Keisha. It's got Nick Cave, which is why I bought it. It's got Devonta Bernhardt. It's got Peaches, if anyone's familiar with Peaches. It's got U2. It's got Nena. It's got Mark Allman. It's got Todd Rundgren. It's got Sean Lennon. It's got Julian Lennon. It's got David Johansen. It's got Gavin Friday. So it's just this great mix of a wide variety of artists doing the songs of Mark Bolan and or T-Rex. So really synonymous with each other. It's a great record. I started with the single for the Nick Cave Cosmic Dancer single that has the Solid Gold Easy Action by Peaches on the backside, and then stumbled into the record not too long after I got the single. So really happy to have this. It's a really great record, and it's on white vinyl. But I'm not going to pull it out right now.
Yeah. Alan?
All right. The next one is a record that I have the original release of this, and it's all beat up, doesn't sound very good. And when I heard there was a Record Store Day release of this, and on a nice color vinyl, I had to have it. This came out in April of 2014. Record Store Day release, obviously, and it's this one. Weird Scenes Inside the Gold Mine, The Doors.
Is it gold?
2 LP set. There's a Record Store Day tag, of course. And this sounds really good. It blew my mind away when I put it on the turntable. And it's on a nice translucent orangey gold color.
That is a reissue of the record, correct,
I like
Alan?
that.
I'm sorry, Alan?
That's a reissue of the record, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And it has some darker orange specks in it too. If you look real close, I don't know if you can see it. It's got some darker areas of orange in it.
I wonder if they were intentional or just happened to be.
Yeah.
Either way, they look
Very good quality.
Mm-hmm.
I keep the shrink on all of these.
Yeah. That's a gatefold, isn't it?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So when it comes to me and my record library, this title was irresistible to me, even though it goes against pretty much everything I stand for because it's nothing but revisionist history. This is
It's a lot of buildup, Sean. I'm anxious to see what it is.
This is a copy of Scream's album, the one that had Dave Grohl on it. Which one? No More Censorship. So this came out in 1988. Scream was a well-known hardcore band. Well, well-known as far as hardcore bands could go. But they were a DC area band, and over the years, guys like Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age and Dave Grohl played in this band. And so this was their 1988 record that came out with Grohl on drums before he joined Nirvana. And the original copies of that record are complete unobtainium. And so when this came out, I had to have it because this is awesome. And it's remixed, and it's also got a different track order and some extra tracks as compared to the original. So it's most definitely not historically accurate. It also has completely different cover art. So definitely not even remotely historically accurate, but it sounds great, and it's a great way to have the stuff on vinyl. And I still break this out once or twice a year and enjoy it. So this was solid. This was for Record Store Day 2017. So see, I'm capable of swallowing my pride sometimes and doing things that are a little out of the ordinary for me.
Yeah, that is one good thing about RSD. There's some titles that are just sometimes hard to find that are available again.
Yeah, and that was certainly one of them, Adam.
Yeah, and this is a couple examples of them too. I mean, Hawkwind is kind of an acquired taste. For those of you that are into the space music and Nick Turner and all those people that played in Hawkwind, Ginger Baker and everyone else. So many Lemmy, yeah. So many different people played with Hawkwind. But in the past couple of years, they put out a couple of live releases from 74 and 72 in particular, which is kind of the, not to say there's a pinnacle of Hawkwind, but it was probably, that was the early to mid 70s was really the Hawkwind era. So I picked both these up. Ironically, I haven't listened to either of them yet. I noticed, but it's one of those, as we were talking in the back room earlier about listening piles. These are piles that I can put on at some point, and maybe when one of the other people who's listening is out of the house, because I'm not so sure she would like them. But,
I feel your pain, Kurt. Yeah, I was just listening to Hawkwind the other day when I was in California a few weeks ago. I found a copy of that last album with Lemmy. What is it, Warrior? The one from '75, Warrior on the Edge of Time, or something like that.
Yeah, it could be again.
That was a great album. I wish the name stuck in my head, but I had never heard it before. But I saw Lemmy was on it, and I'm like, "There's no way this sucks," and it didn't. It was fantastic. So,
yeah, that is Warrior on the Edge of Time from '75.
Yeah, Warrior on the Edge of Time. Okay, yeah.
I mean, Space Ritual is kind of their pinnacle, if you ask some people, but
yeah,
crazy stuff.
I actually like Quark's Strangeness and Charm. That's a good one too. It's poppy as hell, but I love it.
Yeah. One of the dogs can't hear, Leah. So
yeah. I'm thinking he's not talking about the dog, Leah. Just saying. Just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah. For you guys don't know that Leah is Kurt's wife.
yes.
Hey, Leah.
All right, Kurt,
So,
give us some good.
Alan C., we're back to you.
Back to me, okay. This is a classic album, and I was happy to find that they were going to release this on RSD again, 2014. Yardbirds, a little game.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
I've got an original of that, believe it or not.
Yeah, I do not.
How's that sound?
Pretty good. It's not bad.
Cool.
But here's the cool thing about it, though.
Oh.
Ooh, I like that.
On Parlophone as well.
Wow. Very cool.
Yes, it is, isn't it? This is
Yeah.
something that belongs on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. So what year was it, Alan? 2000?
2014.
Okay, 14. So what was the price of that one?
Believe it or not, only $21.99.
$21.99. That's cool.
Good. Nowadays, it'd probably be at least $7, $8 more than that, I would think. Maybe. There it is. Maybe you can't.
Yeah.
So
No,
Elliot called me today, and he was talking about Elliot Cruz. He was talking about the Chris Stamey record, and it's a jazz record. It's a full LP, and it was only $12.98. And he was talking about how good of a bargain that was. That was Record Store Day Drops #2. So yeah, it was really neat. So sometimes we see them different prices, Alan. But
The thing about 2014, that year there were a lot of good releases. Oh my goodness, that was a big
yeah, that might have
release.
been one of the best RSDs ever.
have you been to every RSD, Alan?
I'm sorry.
Have you attended every RSD?
No, not everyone though.
Okay,
No.
gotcha. Okay, very cool.
So here's a Record Store Day 2021. I forget if this was June or July. I think it was July. I don't keep track of it. Speaking of picture discs, you know, it's funny because every time that I read something about this online, everybody tells me it's a steaming pile of crap and this is the worst thing the Cure ever did. You know what? There is nothing wrong with this record. This record is fan-freaking-tastic. Never mind the fact that, rake me over the coals if you must, people, Mint Car is my single favorite Cure song ever across their entire discography. I will listen to Mint Car before I would listen to anything else. Not even kidding you. So I was rather happy to have this because, again, the original copies of this did actually come out on vinyl in the U.S. in 1996, but copies, I mean, for a decent one, you're going to be looking at $250, $300 every day of the week. So do I love it enough to pay that much for it? No.
Yes.
But do I love it enough to pay Record Store Day prices for it? Sure. Yeah.
I found it interesting that, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Cure RSDs are picture disc.
Have there been others? I don't
think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. I love the Cure too. And when that record was new, I bought the CD that had it was a single from Mint Car, so there was different mixes. Yeah, I have that somewhere. I love the Cure. Don't like Wild Mood Springs.
There's a lot of Cure fans. Believe me, I understand. I am in the minority. I really like Wild Mood Swings. I know a lot of Cure fans don't, and I mean, hey, man, that's cool. If I had a dime for every record I love that critics and music fans tell me I should hate, I'd be a very, very rich man. Yeah.
I didn't know that Cure released records after 1994 or so. So, I mean, all my favorites are pre that. So let's just put it that way.
I was thinking Disintegration was their last record, wasn't it?
As far as I knew it was, but
I'll tell you what, I think one of their best overall albums, top to bottom, was actually in 2000, Blood Flowers. Blood Flowers is awesome.
Chris just mentioned that too. I guess he likes it. So,
yeah.
And I'm being facetious. I knew there were some other releases, but I really, Let's Go to Bed era and all those things. So.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally forgot 10 inches, so I happen to have one here, but I didn't pull out the other ones I got. This is a two-tone specials limited edition dub mix of Too Much Too Young and Gangsters. So love the specials. I've loved the specials since the 80s. They didn't do a whole lot, but what they did was fantastic. And it's great to have this kind of dub remix of some of the things they were doing on a 10-inch. And it's not in any fancy color. It's black. So, but two-tone, you would expect it to be black or white in that sense. So.
I'm sure there's probably a Target exclusive version somewhere that has, blue and black split with fairy poop splatter and glitter on 172 gram or something, That's a big
the 172 gram is the important part there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right.
Hey, Calvin. Calvin's not a fan of the album that has "It's Friday and I'm in Love."
Wasn't that Wish?
That's Disintegration. Wish or
Oh no, that
Disintegration.
was that Wish?
Or Disintegration.
Yeah, I liked Wish.
Yeah, it was. I like Wish. I like the live records that came after Wish was released. Paris, Sideshow, and Show.
Yeah.
Show, Sideshow, and Paris. Which
Yeah.
not many people have those, but they're so good.
They are.
I would like to see that for Record Store Day.
There you go.
I'm next.
Give us something good, Alan. You've been giving us good stuff all night, man. Keep it going.
Well, here's one I have never opened yet. It's a shame I haven't.
Open it live on camera and listen to it. Come on.
The reason why I haven't opened it is because I have a lot of their standard albums, but this one's called Ramones Mania.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
The two LP set. And I'm not sure. There was rumors that this is on colored vinyl, but there's nothing on here that says it is. So.
For some reason, I'm thinking it was red, Alan, but I can't recall.
Oh, okay. When I open it, I'll find out.
There you go. Yeah.
Maybe I'll open it up in a video.
I think Chris's is on silver, right, Chris?
Let's see. Alan just went, so I guess my turn. All right. So I know I showed the Pantera release, which was Record Store Day 2010. That's the earliest Record Store Day title I have. However, I did not buy that in 2010. I bought it years later. This is the first Record Store Day title that I actually bought on Record Store Day, and this is from Record Store Day 2011. This is a 12-inch single of Fleet Foxes, Helplessness Blues and Grown Ocean.
Ooh.
So I can't remember if this is on colored vinyl or not. I don't think it is, but yeah, no, it's black. But yeah, so 12-inch single, and I was excited to have this because at the time, Fleet Foxes had a new album coming out, but it wasn't out yet. And this was how they kind of hyped it on Record Store Day. They released a single from it on vinyl before the album was out. And so that's the reason I bought it, was because I wanted the music because the album wasn't out yet. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kurt is muted again.
Kurt, you're muted.
Muting myself so I don't make a lot of noise when you're all doing stuff.
I think it's your wife sneaky doing it so that she doesn't have to listen to you talk.
It might be, in fact. Again, one of the bands of my existence for Record Store Day is the box set. And I get suckered in by it. And I'm going to give you two examples of recent box sets. They're both John Prine.
Nice.
John Prine. This is 2020. Limited at 1,200, I believe. Oh, no, this is the new one. Dang, can't do this backwards. John Prine. This is the Asylum Years records. Again, I have several of those, so the box set is just to make sure I have the complete set. But this one is the release of 2021 second drop was the. This is a double, two full sets of acoustic of just him, limited to 1250. I haven't listened to it yet, but. Big fan of John Prine, have been for a long time. Not just a one-horse pony with punk and new wave, but John Prine is a classic. And so I missed one of his other releases. I think there were 3 boxes and 3 drops, as I recall, maybe 4. But they're not cheap. But I feel like I have to have them. I did the same thing with the Philip Glass boxes. But there were a couple Philip Glass boxes that I got. And again, nice. Philip Glass is another acquired taste, but doesn't really fit into any of those kind of genres.
I will admit that I am probably not the biggest fan of John Prine's music. However, I hold him up there with Bob Dylan as one of the all-time great American songwriters.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think most of John Prine's songs, I've heard versions of them done by other people that I fell in love with. But when I listen to John Prine himself, I guess it's just not really my bag. I mean, obviously, again, I'm in the minority, but I mean, he is such an amazing songwriter.
Yeah,
His
think of the
lyrics and just
think of the song "Angel from Montgomery." I mean that the prime example. I mean, he wrote it; it's his song. But I am an old lady, I'm a woman, and so until Bonnie Raitt did the first part, and he, when they did the duet on that in particular, that really kind of solidified the fact that he was writing for a duo in this sense. But again, it's a fantastic song. A lot of his music like that. His last record, sorry to go off track here a little bit, Adam, was
you talking about Tree of Forgiveness?
Yeah, I love Tree of Forgiveness. I mean, and again, even if you don't love his all his songwriting, there's so much stories about him in there in that last record that really kind of tie to the fact that it was his last record. I don't think he knew it in this case. It's like listening to Black Star by David Bowie. You listen to it and you think, oh my God,
right.
Died. And this is exactly what he's singing about. The last song on there is, well, they're going to give me I'm going to smoke a cigarette that's 5 miles long, and I'm going to go do dancing with my aunt and uncle in heaven, and I'll drink as much as I want. And that's like, that's what he's doing.
Pretty much.
Yeah. John Prine records have always been desirable, and they've always sold really fast for me. And I'm so glad that there was so much stuff that's been issued and released from the John Prine family and the estate. And that's
John Prine needs to, his legacy needs to be preserved for future generations, because he really is one of the all-time great American songwriters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. So, hey, keep coming. Keep bringing some John Prine folks. We'll take it all. Yeah.
And I'll probably take it from you for the few I don't have.
I hear you.
Alan.
All right, let's do it, Alan. What you got?
Let's do it. The next one up, and I haven't opened this one. I don't know why. I should have. This is Carl Perkins' record.
Oh,
ooh.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a cool image. Yeah.
And I believe this is on colored vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't
That is so cool.
It's on. This is the hype sticker.
That's
Only
awesome.
1,500 copies.
Translucent color vinyl.
Yep.
Wow.
I have not opened it. See?
Yeah. That is so cool.
So my personal favorite Carl Perkins, and I'm not as much a big Carl Perkins fan as I should be, is Bop and the Blues with NRBQ. So
there you go. That's
an
an unlikely pairing.
Yeah, but NRBQ did several of those. Skeeter, what's her name? Anyway, they did a few. But,
Skeeter Brown, Skeeter Davis.
Skeeter Davis and NRBQ. There's one of those, and then there's the Carl Perkins.
I have his original Columbia record, the Columbia LP rockabilly record that he came out with. I have that, the original.
Oh, cool.
Whole Lot of Shaking, I think it's called, possibly.
Yeah, you don't find those every day.
What a cool band, NRBQ. Yeah.
So, one thing I would love to see for Record Store Day is some sort of a compilation of an just an all-encompassing compilation of recordings from a guy named Snooks Eaglin. He's an old New Orleans guy. Anybody that's really into New Orleans music would know who Snooks Eaglin was. And I would love to see something like that, because, man, that guy's music. And I'm just on this because I was listening to Snooks Eaglin earlier today. But anyway, so here's a Record Store Day title that I have spun the crap out of since June when it came out. Garbage's No Gods, No Masters. This record is fan-freaking-tastic. And, it was out on vinyl before Record Store Day. There was a green vinyl copy, so I wasn't necessarily married to the idea of having the Record Store Day version of this, but the Record Store Day version is on a unique color vinyl, and it's got unique cover art. It's this is different cover art than the stock market release. And so I thought it'd be cool to have if I could get it, and I ended up getting a copy, which is good. Love the translucent pink on this. Really nice. Very cool. It was also really neat to be able to have Adam show me a little bit of a call with Butch Vig. We talked to him about some stuff. So
I've been on a lot of calls.
Huh?
I've been on a lot of calls with a lot of cool people today, and
oh yeah, you were telling me today. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to talk more about that backstage after this is over.
Yeah.
Was Butch Vig did the production on that? Is that what that was?
Butch Vig is a founding member of Garbage. He plays drums in Garbage.
I guess I knew Butch Vig before
he's been there since the very beginning.
He's one of the founding members. His pre-Garbage career.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to talk about that backstage. You're gonna love. I had the opportunity to ask a question, and I never in a million years thought I would get the answer that we got at when you submitted that question. Anyway, go ahead, Kurt. I won't take.
No, my turn. This is one again that I thought I had to have, and this is one of the few that I say that I've listened to, and I haven't been really impressed with it. Not that I'm not impressed with the artist or the what it is, but this is Willie Nelson live from Austin City Limits. It was from October 1976 performance, and great collections of songs, great things. The recording on it is just not that good. I mean, and again, I've listened to bootlegs, so or collectors' records, so don't get me wrong, but for some reason I expected more out of this than I got. I'm not going to get rid of it because I like it, and clearly this is not a 1976 picture of Willie Nelson.
No,
but nonetheless, I was just a little bit kind of surprised for it. And again, it's a first time on vinyl thing. So,
well, do you think that the actual video performance is better?
Again, it's a 1976 video performance as it is, right? So just the audio recording and the ability to really make those that much better without master recordings is not as efficient as it could be. So if we're taking something from a TV show and making it into a record, I guess I would almost expect that it wouldn't be that great. But again, the song selection's good, the performance is good, it's just the sound isn't that good.
I hear you.
Yeah.
This is one I did get to hear, Bobby Gentry. This was RSD Drops number 2, 2021. The reason
I would listen to that woman sing the phone book.
There you go. The reason I got to hear this is because someone purchased this, and it has a factory pressing defect, and so you can hear the defect. But
that's too bad.
It didn't stop me from playing it 3 times today, and I really like it.
What does it have? A couple pops and clicks, or?
So there's just some noise as you get closer to the center. Who knows? But and then there's lots of sibilance on this record. So I'm looking forward to hearing other people who get this record and play it and compare notes. But
some people are a lot more picky about that than others.
But just the fact that it's just hissy, noisy sounding on both sides as you get closer to that.
That's too bad.
Let's see what
I heard it was.
I overheard someone today that Willie Nelson was waiting out with friends and a couple. Oh, cool! That'd be great. Yeah, that's cool.
A friend of mine actually got to smoke weed with Willie Nelson in a hotel room one night about 20 years ago.
Come on, who can't say that, Sean?
Well, I know. I can't say that. I've never smoked a thing in my life. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, good for you.
But yeah, no, I was with a buddy, and he was like, "Dude, I've got the opportunity right now. One of my friends is backstage with Willie Nelson," and he was like, "Dude, you should come back and hang with us." And I'm like, "All right, go." So he went, and I called him the next morning. He was like, "Dude, you're never gonna believe this, man. Willie Nelson let us come back to his hotel room. We all sat around smoking." And I'm like, "What? I mean, what else would you do with Willie Nelson?"
Was that right before he put out his reggae album? Because that was his biggest mistake in his life. So
I don't know.
There you go. Okay, Alan.
All right. Now, this is another awesome record. And the main reason why I got this release is because I have an original of this, but unfortunately, on the original, the last song on one of the sides, I forget which side it is, skips. And unfortunately, the whole song doesn't play through. So when I heard that this was coming out, this came out the same year as the Carl Perkins, and this is Roy Orbison at the Rock House.
Nice.
Now, this was his son, his first record that was on Sun Records release. And like I said, I have the original, but it's got a flaw on one of the songs at the end. And this one they made 3,000 copies of, and mine is 1297 of 3,000. Right there at the bottom.
is that actually hand numbered, or is that printed to look hand numbered?
I'm not sure. I have the shrink on it, so
Yeah.
it looks like a marker. But this was pressed on premium color vinyl, numbered limited edition of 3,000. Orbison's 61 debut album featuring his early recordings for Sun Records.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And here's the original label, just like the original.
All right.
And it's on white vinyl.
Very cool.
Pretty clean.
So this is the only Record Store Day title that I ever actually got up early to stand in line in order to get, because the idea of not getting it was killing me. This is Record Store Day 2019, right before the pandemic. I stood in line at Adam's store for a ridiculous amount of time to make sure I got this. The album The Afterlife by The Comet is coming.
Oh, I
So,
like the one that's coming. Yeah.
For those who don't know,
That's a really cool.
The Comet is Coming is a project by a British jazz musician named Shabaka Hutchings, and I pretty much like everything he does so far, at least. And so this was released on Record Store Day first before it came out in general market, and so I wanted to get this, and I have spun this so much since I've had it.
Is that black?
It is.
Can it get any blacker?
That's here. I guess they redid the original Impulse label, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah. Impulse was relaunched several years back, and they've signed some great new jazz artists, but Shabaka Hutchings has really been kind of leading that resurgence of Impulse, and they've been putting out some good stuff. So.
Hey, Sean, and everybody else, thanks for joining. We're talking Record Store Day titles. There's a wonderful Tiny Desk concert of The Comet is coming. That's what. So it still may be on YouTube.
I'll check that out.
Nothing leaves YouTube. Adam, I think you turned me onto this, and I bought this from you. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not. And I didn't realize it was a local Raleigh band, but the Velt, and this was from 621. I know that Chris, Record Talk, Chris also talked about having it.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to it the other day because I'd finally gotten to this on my listening file. And it's great. It's fantastic. It's kind of shoegazy and noise at the same time. And the weird thing about it is, excuse me, and it goes to they're donating money to a particular project, but there's one song on one side of 3 minutes and 23 seconds, and then there's about 25 minutes or 20 minutes on side two. So it's, I guess, definitely the A side, and then the B side has all these songs on it as well. But all of them are fantastic. And
kind of reminds me of that Lard album, Kurt. The first side has like 6 minutes of music, and then the one song on the B side is like 30 minutes long.
Yeah, that's Lard.
Yeah, I think that's right, Chris. All right, I think we got time for one record each, folks. So, Alan, take it away.
One more swing around.
One more swing around.
Now, here's another classic record that I do not have the original. I never ran across the original. and I had to have this. It's Johnny Cash with his Hot and Blue guitar.
Oh yeah.
And this I got a low number of. I think they made about 1,500 of these as well. And this one I got number 307.
Ooh.
Right there, it's in gold on the bottom.
Wow. That's cool.
And this one is on a colored vinyl too. This one also came out April of 2014. So like I said, there was a lot of good releases in 2014. Amazing. Now this is also on Sun and it's on Blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is a good record. I've had it before. Not the RSD pressing, but I've had that record before.
I love this record.
Yeah, very good.
All right, so my last one, this was Record Store Day 2018, and it was eating me because I was out of town for that Record Store Day. And I knew that I'd be able to get it locally, but I was out of town. I was in Kentucky. I ended up driving 2 hours to Lexington, which was the closest big city with a record store to where I was. And I ended up getting it. This is Collective Souls, Hints, Allegations, and Things Left Unsaid. This was the first time it had ever been released on vinyl.
Nice.
Record Store Day 2018. Nice red vinyl.
Ooh.
And so just very happy to have this. This was one of, it's very, very rare when I look at a title, Record Store Day or otherwise, that I'm just like, I have to have this. I cannot live without this. This was one of them.
Well,
So,
good for you.
Yeah, that's another good example of those mid 90s, early 20-aughts that didn't hit the vinyl because they were all on CD. And you can find a CD anywhere.
Yeah.
Quarter, 50 cents.
Yeah, you can find a CD for 25 cents anywhere.
It's great to see that some of those things came out, are still coming out on vinyl in different capacities too. So I think that's exciting about it.
Yep.
And as we talked about earlier, I think even in 2018, that was probably cheaper than it would have been if they released it now in 2021. It would have been an extra $5 to $7 on it because there's that much more of a market now, not because.
Well, and it's supply and demand, and you know the pressing plants are so backed up right now that it creates backlogs, and so demand's there and supply isn't. People are delaying their record releases by 6, 7, 8 months right now because of pressing plant delays. It's obscene.
Yeah, and plus there was a big fire in whichever plant, I can't remember.
That makes the lacquers. Yeah, there's one company left in the entire world that makes those lacquer discs. Yeah.
That was Palmer Kurt.
Yep. So my last choice is the Pogues.
Nice. Good choice.
BBC sessions from 84 and 85.
Yeah.
So, and I wouldn't call it Christmassy, even though my favorite song of theirs is Christmas song. But
Kristen.
Yeah, there's Sean McGowan is just badass in a lot of different ways, and so a lot of these are John Peel shows and the David Kidd Jensen show and the Janice Long show. So things they did live in England at different times. Tommy Keene plays on here, but that's the different Tommy Keene now that I see the spelling of it. So don't get mistaken for that being the Jingle Pop. A Jangle Pop Tiny King, that's someone playing the pipes. So nonetheless, again, I love the Pogues, and so can never get enough of them. So had to get it.
That's very cool. Yeah, Sean, I forgot to ask you one thing. When you we talked about you played the Garbage record quite a bit. Have you dubbed it on cassette yet?
No, I have not dubbed it on cassette yet. However, I have been making mixtapes for some of my Instagram followers. It has turned into a thing. There are a lot of it. I will just randomly, when I find cheap blank cassettes somewhere, like I'll find an unopened pack. I'll be like, yo, I got 4 blank cassettes. Who wants a mixtape? And people are like, hey, I'll take one. And so I have put a couple of the songs of those records on mixtapes for my Instagram followers.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And I did want to touch on cassette tapes. We had I think every record store day that I've been involved in, there's been a cassette. And there was even some stores that sold more cassettes of the Pearl Jam than on vinyl for record store day.
Is
Didn't
there
Motley
cassette
Crue
day?
put out like a career compassing like all their albums on cassette recently
They
in a
sure
cassette
did.
box set?
And it was very limited, very hard to
Yeah.
find. What were you asking, Kurt?
Is there a cassette day that's not a record store day? Is there?
There is a
CD
cassette
day?
store day. It's ran by, what's the name of that what is it, Sean?
Oh, Charles, you talking about the guy that runs THC, Tapehead City?
Tapehead City. Yeah, they've taken it over. And I don't. I'm really happy for Cassette Store Day.
I think he's the only participant.
Well, there aren't a lot of cassette stores, so I guess
No.
it doesn't.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's some good titles that's being issued for that. I don't think I've gotten a list yet, but I'll try to buy a few if I can.
Although
but
I will say I love the T-shirt that is out. I think he designed it. It was it's the old '80s Dare logo. You know, the drug awareness logo. It was the old '80s Dare logo, and it said "Dare to keep kids off of digital."
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
I have a
And so-
sweatshirt. I'm sorry. I have a sweatshirt, Sean, that has. You talk about mixtapes. It's got all these cassette, the spines of the cassettes that were all clearly recorded by someone, and has the, this is Joy Division's Unknown Pleasure, this is PIL, and all these things. And so I have that in the winter. I get to wear it.
Absolutely, and I think we're going to see even more and more cassettes released on a regular basis of records. St. Vincent has one, and St. Vincent even had an 8-track this year.
What?
Really?
Of Daddy Go Home, Daddy's Home, and just cool things like that.
I mean, Maroon 5's new album didn't even come out on vinyl, or at least not yet. There hasn't been any announcement about a vinyl copy. It came out on CD and cassette.
I'm not allowed to say, but there's going to be a release coming up soon, folks. That will be only cassette.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there we go. Let's see what Chris says. Chris says, I was told by somebody I had a magnet that held the box.
Oh, man.
You've got to be kidding me. Whose
That's
bonehead
terrible.
idea was that?
Please tell me it was true. Tommy Lee's idea.
Record Talk, I'm with you. I have a good amount of cassettes. Where I find cassettes useful is for a lot of the late 80s and early 90s albums that I love, because original copies of those are just impossible to find on vinyl. Sure, I could buy a reissue, but generally I'm not interested in what a modern mastering engineer and his modern mastering chain has to say about a 30-year-old record, so I'd much rather listen to a vintage, historically accurate copy, so cassettes are great for that.
Cassettes are fun.
They are fun.
There you
Especially
go.
when you make mixtapes. Dude, I can't tell you how much fun I've had making mixtapes for my Instagram followers. It's been great.
Alan, do you have cassettes?
Oh, yeah. When we get off of this, unless you want me to show it now, I have an old school cassette player that I've had since 1981.
Wow.
And it still works.
Still works, yeah.
That's great.
So,
You know what? Why don't you bring that next time we all get together, and I'll try to bring some cassettes from
I've got a
Cassette Store Day. We need to do
I
a
have a
cassette.
lot,
here we
I have a
go.
lot of
Next-
cassettes I can show.
Next stream is going to be cocktails and cassettes, huh?
I like it. CNC.
There you go.
I like it.
Cocktail
I can play.
cassettes.
I can
I'm
play.
down.
And,
So
and I know you
so-
enjoy 8-tracks also, Alan. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can have an 8-track show, too.
So
There
Sean,
you go.
I mean, if you want a better cassette, I don't know what you have for your cassette deck, but I got a friend who literally, as of 12 hours ago, was trying to sell me a Nakamichi Dragon. So if you're really interested,
My only problem, well, we'll talk about that backstage.
They're wonderful machines.
They are.
You need
Until
to
they
have
break.
you need to have a Rolls Royce mechanic in your back room, ready to hop on it. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those Nakamichi Dragons had the original auto reverse where it actually turned the cassette.
Yeah.
Fun
But the
around.
cool thing about them is they're the main thing I like about the Dragons is the correction for the azimuth. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. Yeah.
Those are
Thank
hell
you,
of a nice
guys.
set.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. I'll do
Pleasure
it
as
again.
always. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll mix some people up and we'll end up here again. And and I would really like to do cocktails and cassettes one night. That'd be really cool, and be cool things like that. And there's so many RSD titles. I wonder if there's a number out there somewhere, but so many RSD titles, and
somebody with nothing better to do has cataloged every single release from every single record store day. It has to exist. The internet exists, therefore that catalog has to exist somewhere.
You can probably search it on one of the databases that are out there, but
yeah, I'm sure Record Store Day knows. Maybe I'll reach out to and ask if there's a comprehensive list. I mean,
I'd actually like to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Check off and get everyone. Absolutely, yeah. So,
and I do
about that, but
I do a new cassette, so I can bring out all my old ROR cassettes, ROIR, that really Bad Brains and all those things that came out in the.
Oh yeah.
You could only get those things on cassette, and that was it.
I actually just got a reissue of Bad Brains' first album on cassette because it came out on cassette and vinyl. The reissue did, but I don't know. Considering that record only came out on cassette originally, cassette kind of seemed like the better, more authentic way to listen to it, I guess. So,
yeah.
And there were three colors.
I ended up buying
green,
it on
red, or yellow.
Yeah.
There's cassettes are wonderful. There's so many wonderful stories. But
yeah,
anyway,
mine.
Yeah, and we'll talk about them one night, folks. Hey, thanks so much. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And yeah, good night.
Good night.
Everybody.
Here's what I found.
What did you find?